call this meeting to order. John, would you deliver the invocation, please?
Dear Lord, please help guide us to make the right decisions to benefit the citizens of Jasper. Be with all our families that are ill at this time. Be with all our friends and our citizens that are in need. Help protect our police and our firemen, our EMS, and most of all, just bless everybody that's suffering and needs some help this time. We pray.
Jim, pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council has a copy of the agenda as sent, and I don't think there's any changes, is there?
That one highlighted. I just changed the subject.
What's that do with the?
It's,
Item C. Let me see your agenda. Well test change. We had on that, I believe, the water conservation, and we've determined presently, I think we've done all we need to do with the water conservation. So if we have to do any more, I'm going to ask Mr. Turner to see next week, and next council meeting we'll address it at that time. So with that small change, we're entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as distributed.
Have a motion.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Being none, all in favor, by show of hands. Thank you, council. Before we read the minutes, let it be known that the left side seems like it might not be here this evening. And I think they have hardships in the family as well as work, so they be noted for the record. I think Tony was family and his work. Item 5, read minutes of the June 5th, 2017 regular meeting.
Monday, June 5th, 2017. Mayor Weaver called the meeting to order promptly at 6 p.m. He requested Lonnie Waters give the invocation. Councilmember Jim Loney led an recital of the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Weaver asked that the agenda be reviewed and approved by council. Councilmember Tony Fountain made a motion to approve the agenda. Councilmember Ann Snavy seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. City Clerk will read the minutes of the May 1st, 2017 regular meeting. Councilmember Ann Snavy made a motion to adopt the minutes as read. Councilmember Jim Loney seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. There was no old business to discuss. Item A under old, I got a line there I shouldn't have. Item A under old business. Mayor Weaver recognized Assistant Chief Bond Hedrick to present to council 2 quotes for the repair to the Burton Street barn and for the fire station roof. Mr. Hedrick stated the quotes as follows. Fountain Roofing bid $10,200 for the barn, $15,930 for the fire station. Allen Wind Construction bid $12,250 for the barn, $12,319 for the fire station. Mr. Hedrick stated that this was for metal replacement only and did not include amounts for structural damage if found. Councilmember Jim Lee made a motion to accept the low bid of Fountain Roofing for the barn and a low bid of Allen Wind Construction for the fire station work. Councilmember Ann Snavy seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Item B under old business. Mayor Weaver recognized Mr. Hedrick to present to council a quote from Hoyle Electrical Contractors for the emergency generator for the police department. Mr. Hedrick stated that the city asked Hoyle to give a quote based on the quality of work on the other generators, timeliness of work, and that would allow the city to have one contact for all emergency generators purchased. Mr. Hedrick stated that the quote was $45,000 and FEMA had awarded $49,082 for this generator, with the city's cost being $7,362.30. Ms. Hoyle stated that the city had budgeted for the cost of this generator for 2017. Mayor Weaver entertained a motion. Councilmember Ann Snavy made a motion to accept the quote of $45,000 from Caldwell Electrical for the police department generator. Councilmember Jim Loney seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Item C under old business. Mayor Weaver recognized Lonnie Waters to present to council annexation of a section of Cove Road. Mr. Waters stated that this section of Cove Road is from current city limits to the top of the S curves. He stated that this is a gift from the county, and the county attorney had the road surveyed and a quitclaim deed had been filed, a copy attached and made part of these minutes. Mayor Weaver stated that this annexation did not have to go before the planning commission, as it was a gift from the county. Attorney Bill Pickett agreed and stated that he had talked with the county attorney as well. Mayor Weaver entertained a motion. Councilmember Jim Loney made a motion to accept the proposed gift to the section of Cove Road from the county as surveyed and for the quitclaim deed. Councilmember Ansonetti seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Item A under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Mr. Sam Latimer of Rushton and Company to present the 2016 annual financial audit. Mr. Latimer reported that the city had received an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. Mr. Latimer also stated that the audit found no material weakness and one significant deficiency in internal controls in the municipal court fund. He stated there were no instances of non-compliance. Mayor Weaver recognized Police Chief Greg Lovell to state how that deficiency had been corrected. Chief Lovell stated that deposits will be made daily, and if there is not a deposit, a statement saying such will be sent to the city's finance department. Mayor Weaver entertained a motion to accept the report and approve it for submission to the state of Georgia Department of Audits. Councilmember Ansonetti made such motion, and Councilmember Tony Fountain seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. There was no item B under new business. Item C under new business, Mayor Weaver stated that Piedmont Hospital had withdrawn its request to place a mobile unit for the helicopter pad. No action taken. Item D under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Assistant Chief Von Hedrick to present to council a quote for municipal emergency services for a thermal imaging camera. Mr. Hedrick stated the camera being used by the fire department no longer worked. Mr. Hedrick stated that the quote of $7,395 is less than the $8,000 that the city had budgeted for this purchase in 2017. Mayor Weaver entertained a motion. Councilmember Ansonetti made a motion to the purchase of the thermal imaging camera for $73.95. Councilmember Jim Loney seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Item E under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized David Buchanan to present to council quotes from two vendors for the purchase of skid steer. Mr. Buchanan stated that the city's 3-year lease was up on the old skid steer and had been turned back into the dealer rather than purchased. Mr. Buchanan had obtained two quotes. Mason Tractor quoted $58,000 and Nelson Tractor quoted $60,611. Mayor Weaver entertained a motion. No action taken. Item F under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Lonnie Waters to give an update on the Wood Bridge. Mr. Waters stated that a meeting with DOT was scheduled for later in the week, and the city should have more information regarding the extent of repair work necessary. No action taken. Item G under new business, Mr. Waters presented to council a work change order on the upcoming paving project. Mr. Waters stated that Johnson Paving had included in their original bid to pave Mosley Heights at a cost of $29,325. Since this street is concrete, he stated this street would need repairs prior to paving. He stated that the city had asked Johnson to quote to mill edges at Jacobs Point and to pave the city park paving. Additional cost to the city will be $34,165.60. Mayor Weaver entertained a motion. Councilmember Jim Loney made a motion to approve the change order as presented. Councilmember John Fowl seconded the motion. Motion passed unanimously. Item H under new business. Mr. Waters presented to council the possible need for the moving of the marble basketball monument located on South Main Street. He stated that Georgia DOT had contacted the city with concerns that the monument might be in the way of the new traffic signal posts to be installed in the future. Mayor Weaver stated that he had spoken with the Board of Education regarding the monument. No action taken. Item I under new business. Mayor Weaver gave an update on the city park. No action taken. Item J under new business. Mayor Weaver recognized Water and Sewer Superintendent David Hall to present to council a resolution to adopt the water conservation plan as prepared by G. Ben Turnipseed Engineers. He stated that this is necessary in order for the city to continue its groundwater withdrawal permit increase application. Councilmember Tony Fountain made a motion to adopt the resolution for the water conservation plan. Councilmember Ansonetti seconded the motion. Motion passed unanimously. Item K under new business, Mr. Hall presented to council a letter from Georgia Department of Natural Resources regarding the proposed expansion of the city's water pollution control plant to 1.56 million gallons a day. The DNR has initiated its review of the environmental information document for the project. He stated that the city is required to hold a public meeting and must advertise this meeting for at least 30 days prior to the date of the hearing. Mr. Hall stated that he needed council's approval to advertise and hold this public hearing. Councilmember Jim Loney made a motion to allow the city to advertise the public hearing. Councilmember Ansonovi seconded the motion. Motion passed unanimously. Item M, under new business, Mr. Hall presented to council 3 quotes for a color counter for the water department to find obstructions in the lines. Quotes obtained are as follows. Tech quoted $8,900. Winelson quoted $12,990.63. Trial Vision quoted $13,473. Councilmember Jim Loney made a motion to approve the purchase with a low bid from Tech of $8,900. Councilmember John Faust seconded the motion. Motion passed unanimously. Item N under new business, Mayor, we recognize Sonny Underwood, Planning and Zoning, to address council regarding a recommendation from the Planning Commission's May 23rd, 2017 public hearing whereby the Planning Commission had recommended for approval a request from CSC Properties for the applicant to annex parcel 041-053 of 2.34 acres owned by Patricia Rowland and Gary Copeland located at 1860 Highway 53 West, Jasper, Georgia, into the city as C2 General Commercial Zoning. Mr. Underwood stated that all required advertising and notifications were completed. At this time, Mayor Weaver opened up the meeting for public comment. Following public comment, the mayor entertained a motion from City Council. Councilmember Jim Loney made a motion to approve the annexation of parcel 041-053 into the city as C2 zoning. Councilmember Tony Fountain seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Following the vote, a discussion occurred between City Attorney Bill Pickett and Councilmember Sonny Proctor regarding the question of Proctor owning land in the area of annexation. Proctor stated that Mr. Pickett recommended that he abstain rather than vote for the annexation. Mayor Weaver recognized the request and no action was taken. Vote remains at 5-4 and 0 against. Item L under new business, Mayor Weaver gave council an update on the Marble Hill well. He stated that he had met with John Klein, who used to work for Georgia Marble, and Emirates to look at the city's use of the well. He stated that they had determined that withdrawing water from the well would create sinkholes, and the well was not considered feasible for the city to withdraw at this time. Mayor Weaver also stated that he is planning to look at Emirates' Whitestone location as a possible water source. No action taken. Item O under new business, Sonny Underwood presented an application for selling alcohol, beer and wine by the package from the owner of Dunn's North Convenience Store. Mr. Underwood stated that the background check had been received from the state with nothing that would prevent the owner from obtaining an alcohol license. He is requesting that the council approve permission to continue the application process. Councilmember Tony Fountain made a motion to approve the continuance of the license application. Councilmember Ansonovi seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Item P under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Councilmember John Faust. Councilmember Faust stated that the city needed an ordinance on city blight. Mayor Weaver appointed John Faust and Ansonovi to a city blight committee to write such ordinance. John Faust stated that he wanted Attorney Bill Pickett to be involved. Economic Developer Gerry Nechvatal gave a report to the city. Finance Director Lisa Hoyle gave the financial report for the month of May 2017. Lonnie Waters gave the animal control report for the month of May 2017. Chief Greg Lovell gave a report of police activities for the month of May 2017. Chief Steve Roper gave a report of fire activities for the month of May 2017. Councilmember John Faust gave an update on JYSA activities. Being no other business to come before council, Councilmember Tony Fountain made a motion to adjourn the meeting. Council is scheduled to convene next at the regular council meeting to be held July 10th, 2017.
Entertain a motion.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. If I abstain, should the vote be 4-0, not 5-0?
We discussed this, and we had to vote. You voted for.
Okay.
And then after the vote, you mentioned to me a discussion that you had with Mr. Pickett. The council did not rescind or go back for that, but that was just noted in the minutes that you made that statement to Mr. Pickett, but there was no action taken to rescind that. So if you would like to make a motion tonight to rescind that for the record, but looking at that, Mr. Pickett, he's not that close to this property, and it really does not affect his.
Dr. Proctor just mentioned he had some property over there, and I thought, well, it's over there close to it.
How close?
But I have no where it is.
It's at the next corner on Darnell, the corner of Darnell and 53.
I don't see any conflict in this whatsoever.
Okay.
Personally,
Where's Darnell?
it's about a quarter mile down the road.
Oh, now,
Right next to Bubba's.
Oh,
No?
It's, but we didn't go forward, and we started discussing this, and we didn't take any action.
It's not adjoined.
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
So do we need to take out the statement that we had in discussion, or just let her go?
This is what it is.
Okay.
But that's the only way we can write this up, because
Right.
we're through the facts.
Well, I can also write a letter just saying that it's a potential conflict even if it's not. That's okay. Yeah, right.
Not going
Okay.
to change the action. Do we have a motion?
No, we had the point of order.
I move we approve the minutes as read.
Have a motion to approve minutes as read.
So move.
Motion is second. Discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Item 6, old business. Item A, alcohol license applications. Mr. Underwood.
Mr. Mayor, Council, we're here tonight asking for action on the alcohol license for Ms. Lovell up at Dunn's North. They've completed all their advertising. They have their background check back, and we see no reason that
They've completed all the advertising, they've gone through the due process that one would normally do in order to obtain a liquor beer license, beer and wine license
correct.
at the convenience store known as Dunn's North. Is it still going to be known as Dunn's North?
Yes, it's two dozen.
Dunn's North. Okay, with that being said, we'll entertain a motion.
We approve the alcohol license for Dutch North.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you. Thank you, Sonny. Under old business, skid steer purchase. Potential skid steer purchase. David, Donnie. Council, you recall the other evening, Sonny, you were not there at the workshop. So we'll start the process again
I
because
watched the film for what it's.
we're going to start from scratch.
Okay.
Council, you recall at the last meeting, the city of Jasper returned its skid steer that it had had leased for 3 years, three years, and in hopes of replacing it with a larger skid steer, not a cat, but a Kubota. The gentleman will give you the size in just a moment, it slips my mind, but it's just larger, with a cab. And the reasons why will be explained, and we'll let the council reach its decisions, conclusions. David?
All right, good evening, Council, Mayor. We had tried to get this skid steer approved the last meeting. It's a SVL 95 Kubota. It's a little bigger skid steer for what we need. We need it around here to do some of the heavier jobs that we got, pick up the materials that we have, if we have trees down on the side of the road. And this particular skid steer has an enclosed cab, and it'll allow us to use it in more places. We can use it for bush hogging, and it will be safe. The one that we had was not really safe because it was not an enclosed cab. Originally, when I came to y'all, there was a bid of $58,000 from Mason's Tractor. There was some discrepancy between Nelson and Mason Tractor, and we had to fall back with Nelson Tractor, which was $60,611.
So the bid is no longer 58, it's now 60.
$60,611. So,
Okay. Council, we came back to you tonight because in an effort to get the skid steer back in possession of the city, the size that we feel and have determined that we need in order to do the maintenance inside the corporate limits. And why we come back to you tonight, because this is our last effort, because we are going to close out our loans, and this is going to happen shortly into this, after this meeting.
Yeah, as soon as I have a final language.
Okay, so with that, we were trying to emphasize to the council, reason we sent the CAD back, and hoping to get the larger unit with enclosed cab. I'd like to recognize the chief of the mechanical department, Mr. Donnie Fowler, to give you some ideas of what this means to the city not to have such a unit inside our workforce.
Mr. Weir, council. We don't have one as big as the Kubota. The Kubota is 92 horsepower, which the other one is like 67 horsepower. I think I made a statement last meeting night that, and Sonny corrected me on it, but when I came here 8 years ago, we had one.
Now,
We had
let me
one.
rephrase this. Not this Sonny, I think one of our employees, Sonny,
Sonny,
Underwood, maybe.
yes, sir. Okay, two, but, and we had it 2 years when I came here. Then we got another one, and we returned it for 3 years, and then out of that 3 years, we got this other one for 3 years, and then it was timed up. Y'all carried it back to the day that we supposed to deliver it back, the same day y'all took it back.
That was myself and Mr. Buchanan.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I think that the city does need another machine. I'm not saying that there ain't some out there better than that one, or some you can buy better, but the Kubota is a good machine. They're selling a lot of them now. We got Kubota tractors, we got Kubota skid steers. It's 10 miles down the road, take it, have it worked on. The guys need it. I know we didn't have that many hours on the other one. I know we didn't have the 700 hours, but you can't run one every day. And then sometimes we was using the smaller one on jobs if we could. But the bigger one and the grabber bucket on it and stuff, we do need it. We need it for jobs that we have trees down or storms or whatever. And I think it would be the liability of the city to get it for safety, number one. I think safety is one of the first things we ought to look at when we're working. And
Well, with that, we'll stop right there, and I'll just pretty soon turn it over to the council. The city council approved the budget 2017 with the skid steer that we have. What's the number of the cab?
289.
289. And we made a decision to go with a over cab and a larger unit and turn this unit in. We approved the budget to pay off the cab skid steer, which if we had done that, we'd have it and we wouldn't be talking about tonight. So your option tonight is to approve the changeover, and I'll ask Lisa what the cost is going to be, difference this year, and what's the difference between this unit paid off versus what the Kubota would be.
I had just, based on what we budgeted for 8 payments on this huge loan we're gonna get with GMA, $57,830. Now we're probably not gonna be making even a 5 months payments on, since the loan's not closed yet. It's actually, our payments are gonna be less than budgeted this year for all this equipment that we purchased.
And that included paying off the cat or not? The
No.
cat was budgeted, what was the budgeted amount on the payoff on the cat?
The total price.
26 or something like
You
that.
remember that?
I think it's $26,000.
And some change.
All right.
So what we're asking council tonight to do is approve the Kubota. And if you don't approve that, we will fall back on the $26,000 that you approved to pay off the cap, and it's still available. We'll go pick that up tomorrow, and we'll have a unit in hand that we already approved. We're just trying to upgrade from the cat to the Kubota. There's nothing wrong with the cat. 700 hours lasts us a long time.
At the last meeting, you'd also talked about some financing that we were going to do on this machine, on this Kubota. Is that right?
Yeah, what I'm doing, a big loan for all the equipment. I've grouped it together. We're going with GMA financing,
Right.
and we're gonna get a really low rate, 2.42% on that loan. You have to have 400,000 or more to get that, qualify for that rate. So.
can we already have compiled quick update on the equipment purchase that we've made?
We ordered 3 Colorados for the meter readers. We have already got 2 Kubota excavators that we've already gotten. David Hall's truck we have gotten, and then we had 3 3500 HDs that should be here in about 2 weeks.
Help them out with HD,
Heavy duty, or Chevrolet.
with the cabs and the beds that would handle the
Yeah,
tools.
service trucks. And the Explorer should be here around August 7th.
That would be the police department.
Yes. And then the 2 F-750s for the water department should be delivered August 15th, then they have to go have bodies put on them.
And so we're looking at, we're gonna try to wait till August the 17th to close these out and have everything under one.
Well, he can go ahead and close it out. He needed quotes, and I've sent him all the quotes of
Okay.
everything so far. We're just waiting to finalize the numbers.
Do we have anything that can grab now and move logs? Do the smaller ones do that?
The small one can, but it's not as safe. It tilts more when you're trying to load with it. The bigger one, it can handle pretty good stuff. And, you know, we would be a lot safer, better off with the bigger one. Whether y'all approve for us to get a Kubota or will we go back and buy the cat?
The original cap.
Yes,
So,
sir.
what I heard a second ago is if we don't approve the purchase, you're gonna go back and get the one that we've already talked
As
about
fast
being
as
so.
fast as I can.
I don't understand.
We gotta have it, we gotta have it. And all we wanna do is upgrade it. 700 hours, but we're waiting to take trees down now that's overhanging, Rickett Street. And I won't take them down without a piece of equipment that we can handle the logs. And, so the piece of equipment is mandatory if we're going to maintain the roads and streets in Jasper, Georgia.
So that's
See,
what he's-
that's where I'm getting lost here. There's a piece of equipment that we used for 722 hours in a 3-year period.
722 valuable hours, Jim.
722 hours.
722 very dangerous hours.
Well-
Trying to wrap around power lines and everything else.
And now you're holding over us. If we don't approve this, you're
No,
going to approve that.
I'm not holding it over, you already approved it. You approved it in the budget. We got 26,000
So
sitting here.
you're
to pay
asking
for
me
it.
to vote for spending money that I'm not comfortable spending for getting a piece of unsafe equipment that I'm not comfortable with.
There's 2 different uncomfortables.
Yeah, I don't like either one of them.
Well, you're gonna have to pick
With
one.
the cat, with the thumb, does it handle, what's the issue?
Oh, it'll handle everything, but it don't handle bush hogging without a closing cap, which they call the bulletproof door. Just like EMC, Georgia Power, y'all don't use them without a closed-in cap, not with bush hogging.
Well, we don't.
But when y'all did, y'all didn't. And EMC don't.
Well, we're a little different.
Y'all
And
probably
I'm
sub,
not a big fan of closed in after about 2 or 3 years, so you can see diddly out of it. They fog up. I'd rather have the cage on the front versus having that. So I had, I'm kind of like Jim. I think, if we really need this other piece of equipment, why not let's budget and figure out how to get one for next year? Get the
We've
cat this year.
already budgeted for this one, guys.
No,
All I'm trying to ask you to do is upgrade it, it's still sitting there. We're gonna pay it off as you approved it in the budget meeting. And I have not explained those details to you until the 9th, that piece of equipment is still sitting there, and they're waiting for us to either take it or not. And it's a piece of equipment we gotta have. John, use you as an example. You called me, I called you one evening, said, John, those trees are coming down on Pickens State Drive, Campus Drive. You said, John, I can't be there right now. I said, well, they're coming down, and before 5 o'clock, they were in the road. That piece of equipment that we're talking about cleaned up that whole project from the city side. And you guys, I think, appreciate it, because you didn't have anybody there.
And that was the cat. It did an excellent job.
It's the only piece of equipment that you can do that with when you're dealing with edges that you may, or slope that you can't deal with, and you're dealing with electrical wires that hopefully are not going to be hot, because we're waiting on you guys, but we have to get it cleaned up as soon as possible so that we can get the roads open. And that storm was just a small end of one of the storms that we had prior. We had several more storms than you knew we used that piece of equipment on.
What we're saying, what I'm thinking is, would it do better for us to go ahead and get the cat, and then maybe trade out one of the smaller unit loaders next year? And
But
upgrade?
you've already approved the cat, and I've already got the cat waiting for a check tomorrow. I was wanting to get the cab because of safety for bush hogging. And obviously, we're not gonna go in that direction. So what we can do is go get the cat, we can take care of the picking up and cleaning up. We just can't take care of the bush hogging safely with it.
So the
There's
26,000
no
is for
one, no
purchase.
one could rent us, this piece of equipment for a time when we need it. Or,
Rent's not really not an option. Explain, Dave, why it's not an option.
The reason rental is not a good idea for us is you have to give them a 24-hour notice. And the cheapest rental prices that we have gotten is from a company, United Rentals, out of Fayetteville. And they want to charge us $440 a day, plus a $75 environmental fee, and a delivery charge of $125, and a pickup fee of $125. So that's per day. Or we can do it for $1,028 a week, or for a month, it's $2,171 for a month. Or you can do it for 6 months, and it's $13,026 with those additional fees that I just mentioned. So,
And the 26,000 is to purchase the machine we had that already has 700 hours on it.
It was the, what do you call it?
The balloon.
The balloon. It's our payment of that month, and we budgeted that last year to pay it off. And it was our idea, as this group right here and myself, as to step it up a level to a larger unit with a cab.
well, let's go back and discuss my concern that I brought up at the work session. We don't have any idea what our cost of health care is going to be next year. And yes, this was in the budget, but we, at that time, had a year's less idea of what cost of health care was going to be. This is a amount of money coming out of a budget for a piece of equipment that we had similar years and underused, in my opinion. 722 hours in 3 years, it's an underused piece of equipment. I hear you say you're going to use it more, but you didn't the last 3 years. That's my discomfort with it.
Well, you need to make a motion to rescind mayor's ability to go purchase this, because I'm gonna buy it tomorrow if you don't.
Well, I'm not beyond it.
Well,
But I'm not sure that's
you're
where
gonna
I am
you're gonna have to do it.
I'm not sure that's where I am yet. Also, and the reason I may do that is because I've listened to a discussion about how unsafe it is. So now, you want me to vote for a piece of unsafe equipment that's
It's
not
not
safe?
as, it's not as safe as one with a cap on it. But we've got to have that piece of equipment.
Conversation was it's unsafe.
Well,
I don't think there's any.
Well, I'll let you interpret safety. Safety, when somebody picks up a bush hog and throws a stick through and hurts themselves, would that be unsafe? But we still have to bush hog and maintain properties, and that piece of equipment has been used bush hogging.
So
And we recognize
so
it
you
as
agree
safe.
with me, it's either safe or unsafe. That's
I think you're
what I
agreeing
just
with
said.
me.
Yeah, I'm saying it's unsafe, and you're asking me to vote for a piece of unsafe equipment.
Well, no,
Where's the sense in that?
actually, if you don't vote at all, I'm gonna go pick that piece of equipment back up and we'll put it back in the system. We recognize its inadequacies, but we've gotta have a piece of equipment that size to pick these logs out of the road, to set them on the back of the truck. And in order to move forward, we've gotta have it, because with the storms that's coming in, the hurricane season's not even gotten here yet. Well, I think it's gotten there now. But we're going to have that hit us, and we have to go out and clean up the roads at night. And we've had this piece of equipment in stock for 3 years, and prior to that, 6 more prior.
Donna, tell me about the 2 smaller skid steers.
The 2 smaller ones? The cat's smaller. I mean, we can use a grabber bucket on it, but it won't pick up what we want when you go up and go over the sideboards on the dump truck, the trucks that we use. The 289 that we had will, but it does not have a closed-in cab. It's a good unit. There's nothing wrong with a unit.
We bought that piece of equipment used, though.
Right. Oh, yeah, the small one we did, but the bigger one we had is the same thing, it's cats, they're the same thing, it's just smaller and bigger, that's all it is.
So,
But the
so
left one,
would you say that maybe next year we need to get rid of the smaller skid steers and get the bigger skid steers?
it's just according to what Mr. Weaver does.
We can use equipment more than one location, and sometimes have it on, both piece of equipment on the same job. So, and these pieces of equipment are paid for, and we bought them at a bargain when people were losing their businesses a few years ago. And so we picked those items up and we paid cash for them, and there's no payments on those pieces of equipment.
I'm just worried about me. I'm listening to what Jim's saying.
Well, you need to listen to a little bit of what I'm saying. We need it, because otherwise we wouldn't be asking for it.
And the auction money, it just went into the general fund, is that correct?
That's all the information we have, gentlemen. Make your decision.
I'll make a motion, we purchase the equipment with the understanding that this, when we do the budget next year, may demand that cost of healthcare be spread, a greater amount of it be sent to be put on the employees. We can only afford so much for healthcare, and this is going to take some cash away from that amount of money. So I make a motion, we approve the purchase of the skid steer with that. No, the safe one. I've listened to enough conversation to know that was not safe. I'm not going to vote for unsafe piece of equipment.
It's a motion.
I'll second.
And motion second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. That's 2-4. All opposed? 1 opposed. Carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Item C, well test change. Mr. Hall?
Asking for any money. All we're looking for is,
He actually is. He's misleading you, counsel.
after further site evaluation of the City of Jasper Water Department, we would like to change the scope, location, and transfer the funds of up to $25,000. I don't know if Lisa, if Ben has drew from any of that yet. For the Marble Hill project, has he drew any money out for the Marble Hill project that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
To move that $25,000 from Marble Hill to Whitestone for the purpose of obtaining more raw water availability. We will also use, all it will be is actually a transfer of that money that y'all have already approved and I guess budgeted, $25,000 from Marble Hill to Whitestone, to where we can get the availability of raw water. We have the water plant already available to treat 3 million gallons. We just don't have 3 million gallons of water to run through it yet. So that's what I was coming to get approval to get that money.
Okay, council, you recall from the workshop, and the workshops does confuse, but we have to start from scratch at each council meeting. The workshops are to inform council, either present or who watches on the internet. But that being said,
We'll try to have a shorter meeting next time.
That's all right, I found it ordered.
I'm sorry, did I hit that? Okay. What we're getting at is this council approved last year, we were sure that there was going to be water to be found in Marble Hill, known as the Marble Hill Well. And after study and the advice of Mr. John Klein, we decided not to pursue the Marble Hill project. And working with the Georgia Marble or Emerson employees, their engineer, they asked us to visit with them in Whitestone, which Mr. Klein and I did last month. And we were able to put our eyes on a considerable amount of raw water in Whitestone. And so, just this morning I made arrangements for Mr. Turnipseed to be here the 20th of July. We're going to meet with Mr. John Long and Mr. Lovell for lunch, and then we're going to go to visit the site and have the opportunity for Mr. Turnipseed, of course, to meet Mr. Long and Mr. Loudermilk, as well as for himself to see the amounts of water I believe are there, or is there. So that's where we want, there's going to be engineering fees, there's going to be incidentals until we address the council with larger expenditures. This could get into the hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars future investment on the behalf of the city of Jasper. And of course, if the raw water is there, that'll be a small price to pay for the future of Jasper, Georgia. So we would like to have you officially approve the $25,000 that has been previously approved from Marble Hill to be spent at Whitestone, if necessary. Entertain a motion.
Move we approve the change of that money to look at availability of water for the Whitestone mines.
Have a motion?
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, council. Thank you, David.
Mayor, the public hearing is also still scheduled for July 13th for the wastewater plant expansion to get a sewer discharge from our present 0.8 MGD to 1.6 MGD is the purpose of this public hearing. It will be on this Thursday.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
And I'll let you make the presentation to the council on the fact that we were successful in locating the 2-inch water main that was leaking underneath 53 near the community bank of Pickens County Community Bank. Would you explain to the council what we did or what y'all did?
We had a guy come out with all these computers and fancy earphones and all.
Leak detection.
And he didn't find nothing. He found a couple of places where the water was coming up. And we had a city employee named Terry Howard actually walk up with a piece of copper wire that was sitting in front of him and walk right up to where the line was, and the copper was pointed toward the Highway 53. And whenever he walked up, it turned to the west, identical, I mean, exactly right on where the leak, or where the line was to cut off the leak. The leak was actually in the middle of the road. The line was over here on the side of the road, and he walked right to it and marked the spot exactly where the line was, and they dug it up, we put a valve on it, isolated the leak. The leak's already cut off on the west side up at AutoZone, correct? At AutoZone. A couple of people actually say it's cut off at the bridge too, but now it's cut off on the east and the west, so that line's isolated.
So really anything from that point west is going to be dead.
Yes.
The valves at AutoZone, there's no back feed coming in that we know of.
Yeah, from what I understand now, there's 4. There's that one at Crenshaw's. There's 2 on the bridge, on either side of the bridge, and then there's 1 at AutoZone.
So we're working our way back toward town, trying to kill that line.
Don't you love technology?
Yes. I mean, I'm talking about right on the mark.
Hey, people don't believe this. I've seen them make it work before. And I used to think that this witching was what well drillers use, and they'd absolutely every time find the best location for the truck. True story. That's just a perfect example. Thank you, David. Okay, under new business, Pickens County Library Board appointees, Ann Roper and Miss Bobby Edge, replace Nancy Unzicker and Ann Dobson, whose terms have expired. We'll entertain a motion to approve these two fine ladies.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote with your hand. Thank you, council. Item B, Pickens Art and Cultural Alliance event. Ms. Amelia, welcome.
I'm Amelia McEntyre, and Larry, our vice president, is there, and I have a report that I kind of did on paper and won't go into this part of it unless y'all have questions for the sake of time and efficiency. So this is a report. And the third item being the part that we want to ask permission, a vote permission. And so let me just draw your attention to the sign project. I think in our projects, it seems to me like all big projects, you get into the weeds of something. So this one has some weeds to it. And but the second bullet is to work together to upgrade to brown sign and graphics and picnic tables. At the comprehensive planning meeting of the county, it was brought up that Talking Rock had one of these brown, I think, placeholder signs. And I know that I worked with the county to try to at least put the sign out there saying historic Jasper this way. That was something Pickens Arts and Cultural Alliance we worked on, and so she was saying that the lady from Talking Rock was saying, well, they were proud to have their brown sign with a picnic table sign on it. And I thought, well, we have several picnic tables in our city. And then I noticed in LJ, they have a brown destination sign with graphics on it. So if y'all would like to grant permission, I'd be glad for us to work to see if we wanted to try to get at least that little upgrade.
And you would want to head that up?
I do not mind doing it, John.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion to allow Amelia to move forward with
I've got a
the...
question. Is this about that art center again?
No. No, this is about a sign.
Okay.
Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion to approve Amelia to move forward with the brown sign? Second?
Are we approving the sign, or are we approving?
Approving her to move forward with pursuing it for us.
Okay, we're not approving any.
No, you gotta bring it to.
So we're getting her some teeth when she contacts the DOT.
Talking about like a park sign?
Yeah, it's a sign that's on the side of the road as you're coming up the road. I thought she made sure. Yeah.
You remember in the comprehensive planning meeting that the lady from Talking Rock said how proud she was to have that brown sign out there with the picnic tables. And I was like, well, by George, we have picnic tables and we deserve.
Bronze sign.
Well, the DOT only allows certain signage on the road, and this is one of them that they'll approve. But basically it requires a request, and hopefully some contacts if we need to. And I'd rather Amelia go after this than anybody I know, and I'll help you any way I can. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No, I don't have a second yet. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote with your hand. Thank you. Now you got your project, Amelia.
All right, so the building project, you can see the bullets there. You know, I think we talked about the fact that that was maybe going to be looking like a different kind of thing, maybe a lease agreement for a limited period of time. Understood and appreciate and look forward to trying to work together. The second bullet is had a conversation with a PICRA board member, and you know, we had been thinking that we wanted to try to do a PICRA grant, but it might be that we could get an operating grant. It would not be to fix up that building, but it might be that. Larry, did I leave any papers back there?
No.
Anyway, they're Georgia Council for the Arts grants. Here's that handout. And these are just examples of things that not only does Georgia Council for the Arts have grants for historic renovation and buildings and projects, but also the Humanities Council. And so I'd love it if it turned out that the city, we could, maybe work together for the bigger picture.
When you have circles in.
So the next thing, unless you have questions, I'll move on to the third bullet. And we are asking if we can hold, in conjunction with the Pickens artist gathering that we're already doing on the second Saturday on the old Roper Clinic area. We're asking if on August 12th we can add, which is a Saturday, the cornbread reunion. And this is just the...
You were up there Saturday, weren't you?
We were.
Okay.
And had a really good response. It's the best one we've ever had. We had 2 high school girls out there doing artwork and sold some of their artwork. And we had rocks and paint, people to paint rocks. And Larry was there, and they had the pottery wheel, as you can see in the picture right here.
How long did y'all realize?
From 11 to 4. And I think it was met with a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of public people saw what was going on and responded.
I've just got to say this. I've already met with this group one time, and I've tried to explain it to them. Evidently, they don't understand. But the city council has no authority whatsoever to enter into any leases, give any property away, or anything that has to do up there with that park. The industrial authority and the downtown development authority own that. The city council does not. And they don't have the authority to do it.
Bill, I think they want to use it, and we do have the rights to give them permission to use it for the cornbread what?
Reunion.
Cornbread.
I'm talking
We're not
about-
talking about the, we're not talking about the building here now.
I'm talking about giving property away.
They're not asking for it.
Okay.
Not right.
I
They're,
want to make sure.
okay, no, this is, they want to use it for August the 12th, and you want to do this monthly, Amelia, after this, after August the 12th?
Well, it will just go back to being just the artist gathering monthly. And then if we were to do, again, something expanded, we would come back before the...
Well, you wouldn't really have to, you would call and make arrangements through the Tara, who basically schedules that. And we could give it to you, but it gives you a lot more clout. There's no one going to take your place if you get the council's approval of it. So, but with that, you can simply call and ask to schedule whatever date it is, because the same way we do for the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
Okay. But with that, council, we would like for August 12th to be the official, and would like to have a motion to approve that date for the Arts Alliance
Cornbread reunion.
cornbread reunion.
Are there 4 other dates that you have, or there's some others?
There are,
She don't know what they are.
well, now there's the chamber dates. There's a banner out there with chamber dates listed. And then there's the artist gathering. And so that, yes, there'll be one in September on the second Saturday. There'll be one in October on the second Saturday. And then we won't do it again until May.
There's November.
Oh, there's a November.
That'd be full.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
Well,
cool.
can we include in the motion the second Saturdays of those months?
Sure.
Okay.
Not run her back up here for another Monday night.
Well, we want to do it administratively, but if the council does it, it'll guarantee that we won't write anybody on top of it. Hopefully.
All right, I'll make that motion.
A motion to approve the second Saturday through November from
11 to 4.
August through November.
Through November.
Okay. Now the motion, need a second?
Second.
Got a motion second, any discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, council. Thank you, Amelia.
Before we get on
Thank
the
you.
subject, could I request and if I need to make an emotion, I'll do that. This piece of property is very valuable. It's an asset of the community that eventually something needs to be done in that area. I'd like to have a commission of members of the council, the Arts Society, state representative, and city attorney to
And
look at.
might go ahead and put the development authority on that as well.
Thank you, I meant to do that. Yes, since they own it.
But they own it until we get it paid off.
Well,
Yeah, it'll be several years from now, it looks like. But with that, we'll entertain a motion, Jim.
that's a motion.
Okay, give it to me one more time for the record.
I'd like for the mayor appoints commissions and subcommittees, that's what it is in the city charter. Would ask the mayor to appoint a council member, a member of the Arts Society, state representative, city attorney, and member of the Development Authority to look at potential uses for the, what we call row and broker properties.
That'll be addressed at the next council meeting and have that formally done. So we can have the people we want to appoint.
So we don't need to vote on it.
We'll have it on the next council meeting.
Sandy, I'll get the names and stuff.
Perfect.
Now, in intent, thanks for including us in the intent of what you're doing.
No,
Thank you.
I don't have to do the work.
Well,
I
this
just know how hard we're all working for Jasper to just be the
property originally started being collected by the city of Jasper in the 90s. And just recently, the interest of the Pro property has drawn a lot of attention. So before we collected it, hoping no one paid attention. So when we ever needed to use it for the true need, we could have it available. So it seems like today and now is the time that Rover property, there are a couple of extra properties close by there that would be a great addition, but we can always add those in the future. Thank you.
I don't think this commission would limit that in any way.
Thank you.
We want to call it commission or committee? Commission, commission's scared.
Your choice.
We'll call it a committee for the council, and we'll add these people to it. Okay, sanitation truck. I'll leave off the word purchase. I'll recognize the same two gentlemen that was here just a few minutes ago that was so warmly and graciously accepted. Council, I'd like to recognize Mr. Donnie Fowler, who was here earlier, to present to you a little bit about the condition of our garbage fleet.
Well, we have two garbage trucks, and I think y'all know that. The Kodiak truck we have has 214,000 miles on it. It was bought as salvage. It's had two motors put in it, no air conditioning or nothing on it but inboards when they use it, but it does need a good bit of work. It's got the main cylinder in it, needs rebuilt. It needs some hydraulic hoses placed on it and one valve, but we still run it. We had a little problem with the brakes on it 2 weeks ago, but we finally got some orders and got it fixed. They're obsolete. But the Freightliner we have that they run every day is a 2007. It has 153,400 miles on it. We just got it back from Freightliner last week. We went down and picked it up. At Peach State, we spent $4,450 on it for them to update the motor, the J brakes, slack adjusters, everything on it. Then we had to send it to Consolidate, and they redone the bed on it, a bunch of broke pins in it, sealed. It was warped at the back where it smashed so much, they straightened it back. Everything they did to the bed on it cost $3,670.99, which made the total bill on the truck $8,120.99. I know that we do need to look at retiring the brown truck. I think the white truck would make a good backup truck if we need it, if we got a new one. I think in time that the council or Mr. Weaver or y'all are gonna have to look at the update of another new truck if garbage goes on in the city of Jasper. What we got is had, you know, I think 2011, or 2007 is 10 years old. So, you know, after 10 years, you start putting wear, and they run all these streets, you know, they go from house to house, 50 feet, 75 feet, 200 feet, half a mile, quarter of a mile. And it's just,
Inside to the landfill.
right, and into the landfill at least every other day. And, you know, you just smash garbage over and over and over and over, and it puts wear on it. And, it's had a lot of garbage smashed on it, I'll put it that way. There's a lot of garbage in the city of Jasper.
Okay.
I think
David,
about
if you will, tell us a little bit about the cost, and then I'll recognize Lisa and tell us about where the money is if we move forward.
All right. Just for y'all's information, in 2016, we had 606 customers. As of present time, now we have 650 customers that we pick up weekly. And sometimes we pick these up 2 times.
We also, you gotta mention, we also pick up Main Street, we pick up all the parks.
Yeah.
So that's in addition to, and that's really why we're in the garbage business.
Right. But the mayor asked me to get some quotes from different people, and for a Freightliner 2018 M2, they give us a quote of $135,042. This is basically the same truck that we have now that we pick up with. And I got a quote from Nextran for a Mack garbage truck, which is $143,396.42. The Mack is just a little bigger truck than what we got now, which would allow us to haul a little more garbage and maybe cut down on the time of so many trips backwards and forward. But, and it also has a really, it holds its value. If we decide to trade it in down the road, if we wanted to trade one, that we would get a little more out of it.
Okay, just a little background on this. A month ago, I guess it was, Donnie, when I got a call to come down to the garage, and Mr. Howard was all torn up because his truck was torn up. You had to
there
take
were so many things wrong with it.
Yeah, that we just kept holding and band-aiding it to get it, but we had to take it offline. And sure enough, as soon as we took it offline, the brakes on the brown truck went bad, and we were actually having to pick up garbage with pickup trucks and bringing it and crushing it. And then by the time we got the brakes on it, we were able to haul it to the landfill. So at that time, we started looking at the need for another truck that would be not only an online truck. I like to have both the trucks going, and they should be able to finish faster during the day, and they would also be available for other projects as they are now. When they finish their garbage detail, usually the lead man takes the garbage that been Mr. Howard to the landfill, and the other 2 guys do projects that we have to do with patching roads or mowing grass or weeding or whatever. But usually after they finish a day of picking up garbage, they're kind of worn out, the guys are. It's one of the toughest jobs, but we do a backyard or back door pickup. So with that, and we also at the workshop discussed, Mr. Looney brought up, Councilman Looney brought up a little idea or possibility of an idea of going, we want to get into the business, get into it, really get into it with the arms. Jim, would you like to address that just a moment?
I think it's not getting into the business, we're already there.
Yeah,
I think if we're going to continue in the business, we need to do it as economically as possible. And having 2 guys walking up and down the driveways maybe isn't the most economical way to do it. purchasing a truck for $135,000 that will not allow you to have a can picked up and loaded from the side is questionable in my mind. We need to at least be able to head into that direction. And I don't know if you guys may give an answer. Is that something that could be added to these garbage trucks later on?
No,
Not with these particular beds.
Not the back load you could.
Yeah, I think we need to be looking at something that would allow us to be more economical in how we handle it.
Well, I've got a mayor friend who thinks there's money to be made in garbage. I've always thought it's more of a privilege of living inside the corporate limits of Jasper to have garbage service from the city as well as from the private sector. But he has the arm that Mr. Looney is referring to, but he's also South Georgia, and he don't have the slopes or the issues of driveways that we have in Jasper. And my biggest concern is why I years ago chose to go back door is because garbage cans are an obstacle in a community that's sitting out on the curbs, and I just never liked it. I thought once we started picking up garbage, we just offer something unique, and it's going to cost a little more, but do the back door pickup. And it takes 3 to 4 guys to keep up with 600 customers. And we also, these guys, we do, I hate to advertise it today, but we did it this year because of issues we were having trying to just maintain our property. Spring cleanup, whatever we have, we get a lot of phone calls from our citizens wanting us to pick up additional garbage. And we don't just pick up 2 bags or 3 bags, we pick up whatever they have sitting there. And from time to time, I get a phone call, we pick up a little too much. But as a rule, it works out very well. But it's a debate. But what I'm trying to get to now is the price that we've got. 135 versus 140 something, whatever. I'm still trying to meet that deadline to get this 2.4% interest through the Georgia Municipal Association and get all of our fleet purchased, because that 2007 model was part of the last large purchase from the city of Jasper, where we bought dump trucks, meter reading vehicles. All of that is the last large purchase, and most of that equipment has been replaced or sold out now. But if we decide in the future to go with the arms, I believe we could sell a piece of equipment that if we go with the Mack or with a Freightliner, that we could actually do it and recoup most of our money and maybe even trade it to the company that would sell us getting really into the business. And Mr. Looney mentioned the arms, those trash cans, we would have to provide at present rate 650 trash cans. And once we start doing this, we'd probably want to try to corner the market so that we would have, well, I guess we could lose more money on behalf of the taxpayers, but garbage is not a money-making proposition. It's subsidized with the sanitary sewer.
We know we're subsidizing it now. We will continue to subsidize it if we buy this vehicle that doesn't give us a chance to be.
So you want to look at going into next year with 2 trucks with arms and trash cans?
I think just to keep the injuries. I mean, somebody hurt their back, loading some of this stuff, you don't want some there. Also, too, what we need to look into is recycling. With all this Amazon stuff, there's cardboard out there, yin yang. We need to be looking about finding some ways to get it, and maybe taking it down and getting about the cardboard and recycle.
I think they'll loan us money next year if we need to wait a little while. This isn't the only opportunity they have to borrow.
Well, I agree with you, but this was an effort to not get in the same situation we were last month when both pieces of equipment were down and we had to pick the garbage up. I mean, we pick up garbage every day except Christmas Day. Because it's got to be picked up anyway, and I bring the guys in
Just
to pick
on
it
a day, I understand that. This is hated for the folks.
This is tough. So council is not interested, I take it, into moving forward with purchasing an additional garbage truck.
We're looking to research a little more. I'm with you.
So we'll go ahead and close out the, loans that we have now with the peace women that you approved tonight, and be done with it.
I think there's an opportunity to borrow money later on if we need to. Don't,
Okay?
there's,
It cost us over $400,000 to go with those other two.
It's actually closer to 500,000 by the time you get into it. But that could be, we could actually aggressively go after all the customers inside the corporate limits of Jasper. But I tell you what we do have though, and people and citizens of Jasper do appreciate it. They love their back door pickup.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and there's gonna be some people
We'll have
that
to do
we
it
don't
anyway.
wanna do that for, some.
We got two prices, one.
Well, you know, whether we charge extra for it, that's another
You have to meet a
discussion.
certain criteria, that's what
But these
disability.
vehicles aren't gonna keep you from throwing a bag in the back. It just
And
gives
that's
you
the
an
thing, too,
opportunity to
they
pick up a canister.
They got some of them that just don't, we got arm, they got like a lift under it, so it don't matter what kind of can you have.
There are so many areas you can't get into in the city of Jasper with them trucks.
Oh, understand.
Well, let's look at it, and see if it gives us an opportunity.
But when you do that, if you go to the side armored areas you can't get to, what are you gonna do then?
That's where we use the pickup trucks, like we do now. We have
Or we use.
Fox Run,
Frontline.
Fox Run, Amelia McEntyre, we can't get to her house with a garbage truck. We have to drive a pickup to get there. But she likes the garbage service, so we provide it for her since she's a citizen. So, gentlemen, I think we got our point across this evening very well, so thank you so much. And I really do appreciate you guys coming tonight and doing this. Okay. Economic Development Report, Gerry. I can't believe you didn't move 3 rows up from that group back there.
I don't want to miss out on all the good comments.
You what now?
I don't want to miss out on all the good comments. Entertaining comments is probably the better way to put it. But, well, thank you. I'm pleased to be with you this evening. Just a couple things I want to share with you is we've been working actually for several years on trying to develop a competitive industrial park with rail service. There's been a lot of factors that have made that a slow and difficult process, but we're really gaining some good traction right now. We've had a meeting down in Atlanta with the property owner. We have a very clear path mapped out forward. We've expanded it to include some property that is within our opportunity zone that we established about 7 years ago. And what that does, it provides some of the best incentives available. So this, once it's all complete, it will be a very competitive site. In fact, we already had a look at it on Friday. We had a company come up, state level project, came up and looked at it on Friday. A very nice industrial project. Early stages, but we'll see how it goes. So that's trending very nicely. The other thing I want to share, and this ties into your conversation about the green space at the end of Main Street. We had our summer social last year. We called it Wednesday. We changed the date. We had it on Thursday, the original date. We had terrible rain and tornadoes, so then we postponed it to the following week, and the weather wasn't a whole lot
I
better.
was gonna say, how much better was it?
But it actually, all things considered, that a decent turnout. People that were there enjoyed it. Thomas Fountain did a wonderful job. He really seems to have been growing as a musician. I enjoyed it very much. I think everybody else did too. But the real idea behind this is to bring people into the community and provide something for our local residents to do at basically no cost. And again, we're looking forward to next month for the same reason, so we can get people into town, bring them out to the central business district, and get them used to coming in town and spending some money. So anyway, soggy, but it was good. Last thing I want to share very quickly, there's a sign up on Church Street where the property is across from the post office, kind of to the side of Ingles. It's graded out. There's a sign that says Windsor Lodge. We've been receiving a lot of phone calls about that. What it is, it's a proposed aging in place assisted care type facility. Seems to be moving forward very nicely. And one thing, I mean, as you know, there's several of these developments in the works right now. I truly feel like the first one that starts coming out of the ground is really going to stick a flag in the ground, and a lot of things build around it. And the location there being so close to the central business district in downtown, I think that would be an excellent location. I think there'd be a lot of secondary development that comes in behind that, as well as support for our existing businesses. So I just want to mention that because, again, they've got to sign up. A lot of people have been calling, asking about it, and that's what that is. So that's what I have for this evening, unless there's some questions that I'll be glad to answer at this point.
Questions, Council?
Gerry, what Is there anything out there that we need to be doing that we're not, that council can help you with?
Right now, I would say no, Jim, but one thing that has transpired within our Economic Development Council, which of course the mayor participates on and some others, the County Development Authority has changed. The previous chairman has retired. Don Bogus has now stepped up. He's been in our community for a long time. He's been in the banking industry, very knowledgeable individual. So he has joined the Economic Development Council, and you know, he brings a lot to the table. So hopefully with some of the things that we're also working on, like the industrial park, there will be opportunities to come before the city council and for the city development authority to have greater participation. But as we speak, there's nothing that I can think of, but I do appreciate your continued support and interest in our projects.
Well, and I guess that's also a request to you, if there is anything the council can do, bring it before us.
I certainly will, thank you.
Jerry, when's the next chamber?
The next chamber meeting, the breakfast is actually tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And we have a great speaker and a very good sponsor in Pepsi. So I encourage everyone to come up.
Who's speaking tomorrow?
The speaker will be the executive director of the Joy House. The topic is restoring families and teens. I think it will be very inspiring. And again, encourage everybody to come out to hear him.
Mr. Loud?
Yes, Steve Black.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Hoyle, financial report.
In your notebooks, you should have the financial report for June of 17. We're halfway through the year. General fund, we've collected in sales tax $96,650, which is a pretty good month. Prior year, the same month was $85,186, a total of $558,800 for the year versus $513,500 last year. We're at almost 44% of our budget for the year in expenditures in the general fund. Hotel motel, we're about to do a check to the chamber this month. We're at the end of second quarter. And I haven't calculated what that amount is yet. The SPLOST fund, we collected $75,300 this month compared to $66,000 last year. For a total of $435,000 collected this year versus $399 last year for the year. In our account at the present time, we have $861,500. We're committed of that, at least $476,000 to the paving company, Johnson Paving, which leaves a balance of $385,000 in that account. Water fund, we're at 47% budget in our expenditures. The sanitation fund, we're below the 50% in our expenditures. And that's about all I had to report. If you have any questions.
Questions, council?
Thank you.
Mr. Waters, animal control and other.
Mayor, council, as you see, very little had to be done with animal control for this last month. I only had 2 calls. Everything's moving forward very well with that.
Council Wayne, Lonnie, most of his job is no longer animal control, but for a long time, he's pretty much cleaned up the town as far as animal control. We need a few coyotes back, I guess. So but we're going to start changing that to animal control.
On the original budget, so.
Okay.
See, that's when we get away with the dogs, the bears come in.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lonnie, but go ahead and move yourself into, I didn't have your list, but you were at the workshop with several items you discussed. If you would, discuss to the full council.
Okay, the items that I went over in the workshop are very simple as far as what to report on. One is paving and striping of the roads. They have finished West Spring, Richards, Holly, A.W. Lawson, and Mary Street. They had a job started that due to the weather and the location of it, that they did not get to finish. So they are working today and tomorrow and possibly Wednesday to finish that job. And also, they just picked up the tacking trailer out here this afternoon, and they've got another trailer coming in out of Chattanooga. It'll be here possibly Tuesday or Wednesday. And then by the time it gets here, they'll be moving back, moving across the street to Chambers Street, Burt Street, and the streets behind the tech school here. So as far as paving, the striping crew is just waiting on the jobs to get complete. The GIS mapping program should be in full operation by the end of August if everything goes good. The Woodbridge update, Mr. Looney had asked about a list. I do have that as far as what the DOT is asking for. And the list has shortened considerably compared to what we first saw. So the items on that. And due to the water department finding that leak on 53, the DOT road rulings as far as repairs, we're not going to have to worry about that. So that probably saved an estimated price from the paving company. It probably saved the city about $6,000. That's what they estimated it would cost to fix it back to DOT specs.
The other morning, Lonnie was in my office, and we called Mr. Bennett, I believe it was, Lonnie, and gave them a heads up that we were about to have to cut their new paving. We weren't looking
I
for
bet that conversation went real well.
Actually, we were more upset than they were. They just told how much it was going to cost us. So, but it kind of sped up the efforts to locate the 2-inch line that was the culprit. And but what we want to do with that is not only we might find Terry with his rig again and moving closer to town and keep trying to track that thing down and kill it all the way to the traffic light. It's going to break again. And but if it's out from under the pavement, it won't be the problem. But we sure did hate to have to cut that. I'm glad we did. Thank you, Lonnie. Is that it?
Yes.
Well, do we need to discuss where we are on the Woods Bridge?
Oh, well, we got a bid process. When's the bid, Lonnie?
It's July the 20th. We'll be opening bids for any that comes in. If any come in at this point, we do have a couple companies that have been up to look at them. One company sent a representative from Illinois down here. They do have, I think he said Winston, Georgia, or something like that. They do have an office down here, but the people with bridge companies in Illinois, so they're looking at that. We've already sent everybody their bid package.
Thank you.
And I never mind, I'll tell you one. We might be talking about engineers. We have his own bid. Chief Lovell. You know who you are?
Roll.
Lovell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. City of Jasper Police Department for the month of June responded to 691 calls for service from the 911 center, responding to 53 motor vehicle accidents. Issued a total of 79 citations for the following: 1 DUI, 34 speeding, 5 seatbelt, 5 shoplifting, 2 reckless driving, 1 uninsured motorist, 28 miscellaneous violations, 2 suspended or revoked, and 1 possession of marijuana. Georgia State Patrol issued a total of 84 for a grand total of City Court 163 citations. Issued a total of 13 state warrants for the following: 2 theft by shoplifting felony, 1 shoplifting misdemeanor, 1 theft by deception, 1 theft by taking, 1 simple battery, family violence, 3 simple assault, 1 disorderly conduct, 1 criminal trespass, 1 giving false name, and possession of controlled substance felony. miscellaneous calls responded to, 42 alarm calls, 43 disorderly, 10 harassment, 4 trespassing or loitering, 75 suspicious activity, 20 domestic disputes investigated, 2 burglaries.
Questions, council? Thank you, Chief. Chief Rowe.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. For the month of June, the city's fire department responded to 92 emergencies. Those were no structure fires inside the city or outside, no vehicle fires inside, 1 outside, no grass or brush fires in or out, 12 motor vehicle accidents with injuries inside, none outside, 34 emergency medical responses in the city, 23 outside, 14 other calls in, 8 out. As of the end of the month, 770. Fire inspection looked at 3 sets of plans for construction and conducted 16.
Can council tell me why he's not had any structure fires inside or out? It's been raining since.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's hard to build a fire.
It's hard to build.
It'd be hard to get one going.
Thank you. Any questions, council?
Thank you.
Steve. When does the burn ban lifted?
October
October.
1st. If I had $1 for every time the mayor called me Lovell, I probably wouldn't be here tonight.
You know who you are.
I know who I am. That's sir.
Okay, John, update on JYSA?
Football camp starts tonight. If they're planning on playing, they need to be signed up by Friday.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Look good?
I hope it does. I hope it looks good. I'm here to there right now. So.
First day to sign?
Well, no, they've had to sign up, but they usually camps in Terry.
Back in the old days, John used to hang out at the corner over there trying to get people to sign up for this. And we made a great effort. I think the success of Pickens High School is a direct response to our JYSA's efforts.
So we've got some good people, and we've got a good program going.
That brings us into our golf tournament. That's why I said that. Our golf tournament is the last Wednesday this month, and I think this morning we were sitting on 25 teams. We'll probably have to cut off to 30.
Let's not have 110 degrees this time.
Well, I figured we'll get rain. But with that being no other business comes to this council, we'll entertain a motion. Thank you, council. Thank you, guests. Thank you, No Pickens, and